Hi, and welcome to this tutorial. Today we're taking a look at modeling a lightsaber in Blender. So this tutorial will just cover the modeling portion. What you hopefully are seeing on the screen right now is the reference image. It's there in Canvas. So if you go to Activity 2.0, Model a Lightsaber, to get the reference image, you can right-click on the lightsaber image and choose Save Image As, the second option down. This should open up a File Explorer window, and you'll need to place this somewhere that you can get to it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on my desktop. And then we can go ahead and switch over into Blender. So here we're not going to need the cube. We're just into General. And I am going to hit X and delete the cube. And you can choose Add menu or Shift Add. And let's get the, we're going to go down to Image and over to Reference. So there's a submenu, and Reference is the top choice there. So this is going to open up a File Explorer box inside of Blender, and I'm just going to type in the search bar here, Luke, to get the Luke lightsaber. So I chose this lightsaber specifically because the contours, the geometry was going to be a good match to our current skill level in modeling. So notice that the reference image comes in perpendicular to the camera, so it's like the camera determines the rotation. But you can use a shortcut, Alt R, in order to reset that. I'm going to go ahead quickly turn on my screencast keys so that you can see my keystrokes down here in the bottom left here. So I'm going to hit Alt R, and it's going to flatten out. And I want to be looking at this from the front view. So there's a couple of ways to get to the front view. One, you can come up and click the little green dot in your gadget, or the gizmo, I think they call this. And that switches you, like in this case, it switched me to the back orthographic. And if I click it again, it'll flip. And now I'm looking at it from the front. Okay, so I'm going to hit R to rotate around this red axis here to flip the picture up so that I can see it. So RX90, enter. Okay, and that gets us what we need. So we're going to start over here on the left. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. I'm going to use Shift middle mouse key and slide. And I want to put my 3D cursor kind of right where this little black nub is here. And I'm going to shoot for the x-axis. Actually, I want to shoot for the center of the little black nub here. So I'm going to hold down Shift, right-click. That will move this little target-looking thing, which is my 3D cursor. So whenever I create anything, that's where it occurs, right? That's where it happens. So here I'm going to hit Shift-A and go to Mesh this time and choose Circle. Okay. So you can see this orange line is the circle. It's laying flat. If you angle, you can kind of see that it's a circle. I need to flip that around the red axis here. So actually I need to flip it around the green axis, the y-axis, because I want it to stand up and parallel the lightsaber here. So I'm going to hit RY90, enter, and zoom out a little bit. You can see it's pretty wide here. I need to scale it down. I'm at a slight angle so that I can kind of see it, although it turns white and I have a white background, so it's very difficult to see. I'm going to zoom in here. Okay, so you can see I've actually got the circle too small. I'm going to hit the one on my numpad, which is another way to get the front view. So if you hit 1, you can see up here it's changed. And it's the numpad one, not the one above your keys, but the one over to the right. So I'm going to actually scale that up a little bit and then slide it GZ down a little bit to see if I can't get it about evenly matched. That's going to be good for me. I think I can GX scooch it a little in, and now I'm ready to start extruding. The only problem is that it's the circle itself is not filled in, right? So it won't extrude until it's filled in. So here we can either hit Tab or go up to Object Edit menu, and we're into vertex mode, and you can hit F and you'll see that that surface now fills, and we could come back and choose face select mode. Again, I'm going to hit 1 on numpad 1 in order to come back around, and hit E and extrude along that axis, so the normal. So there we go. S will allow me to scale that up to match. I'm going to hit E, come in a little bit more. And then in order to get the surface to come up to match up here, if you tap E and S, E starts a new extrude, but then S makes a duplicate surface and starts to scale it. And so I'm going to hit E and then S and then slide this up, and you can see that black line coming out. And I'm just going to try and match that up with the part of the lightsaber here, and then left click, and now I can use E and bring it over. Now this, I'm going to left click here and stop right before, and then I'm going to stop again after this. We're going to come back and play with these this geometry here a little bit. This is a little complicated part. So for now we're going to kind of skip past it, although we're going to basically leave a loop cut right on both sides of it, so that we can kind of come back and use those. Now I'm going to hit E and move forward, and I have to use ES in order to bring my surface out, and I can slide over a bit more and use E to come all the way over. It looks like there's kind of a bit of a dip here, so I'm going to use E, move forward a bit, hit S to scale it down, and then use E to come forward some more, and then ES to sort of lift it back up, and then left click E in order to keep bringing it over. Now this part, oops, let me hit 1. I rotated. I'm going to zoom out here, slide down. We don't really need that loop cut here, but that's okay. It's not going to show up when we're in object mode. So we want to come all the way up to where this little black section starts here. Okay, so we need to use E then S in order to bring it down a little bit, and then E to extrude out. I'm not sure I got that very well, so I'm going to come around here, undo that, and so I can have a better look at where I need to stop here. So I'm going to hit ES, or you can use I. We're going to bring it down to here. I'm going to hit 1 numpad to come into the side, or front view technically, and then extrude out a little bit here. So I want to cover up this black area. I need to separate the black and the silver areas and have different faces, so that later when I shade, I can put the silver on the silver and the black on the black. So I'm going to extrude here, and then I'm going to extrude one more time. I want to leave a little spot here. There's a diagonal, so we're going to come in, left click, and then S to scale that pretty sharply down until we meet that. And then we're going to extrude over just a little bit, and then we can hit E and come all the way to the metal, and then we can hit S in order to scale that up. Again, stopping at the metal, E to come over, stopping. So I'll probably fast forward this portion of the video in order to, because this is a bit repetitive here. So again, I E, extrude, S, bring it down sharply, E to come over a little bit, left click to lock, E to come over to the metal. We're going to want to S to scale that up. So that's the pattern, and we have to do that numerous times. Let's zoom out here a little bit. So this is a portion I'm going to go ahead and fast forward the video up until I've got all of those pieces done. Okay, so we've made it to the end, and we're going to extrude here a bit forward and then scale pretty extreme down. We're trying to get that edge to be right here at the top. So let's see if we made it happen. That's pretty close. That's close enough for us. So we're going to cut ahead and come over. In this case, we want to ES, bring it up at a 90-degree angle, extrude until we're about in the middle of this guy. This guy looks like, I think I'm going to, it doesn't look like it slopes really. I think I'm going to go ahead and use ES. I could see that flaring a little bit if you wanted it to flare. I could bring this down like this, but it doesn't look like it is. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to use ES again to come through. So ES, and I might need to rotate. Yeah, I'm going to need to rotate. So I'm going to Control Z back out, rotate a little bit. And you can see I could hit I for this as well, inset, and bring it down, but I need to get it right about where, let me hit 1 on my numpad and see if that got me where I need. Yeah, that's pretty close. We'll call that good. And then we have to ES, and we're kind of doing the same thing here. Yeah, I didn't quite hit it. So we're going to rotate. I'm going to undo that. So either ES or I will get you this perspective. And we're going up on the other side, so I think I can hit 1 on numpad at this point and probably be okay, because I'm going to use ES to extrude up, and then E to come over, ES to come up, E to come over, use shift middle mouse button to slide it. All right, we're almost finished here. We got ES to come up. I say finished, but finish with the hilt, sort of. We've got to go. All right, left click, E to extrude. And here I think I'm going to extrude a bit here and then use S to scale. This looks like it's flaring a bit. And then I'm going to E extrude a bit more and then S to go ahead and flare that up a bit. All right, so I think even though it's a little bit larger, I think I'm going to be okay there. All right, so let's head back over to this end, zoom out a little bit, and see how we can tackle this. So I'm going to hit 1 on the numpad and 0 in here. It might be good to go actually to the end and do some counting. We need to figure out how many segments there are. So I'm in edit mode, so I can count these. I'm in circle mode for some reason, so I'm going to flip the select box so I can select one at a time. All right, so I was in edit. I'm on face select, and I'm using the select box. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. All right, so 32 divided by 2, if we want to do every 2, is 16. And if we wanted to leave a space between each one, then we should have about 8 of these. And by these, what I mean, I'm going to hit 1 on my numpad. So I'm going to actually zoom out, switch back into object mode, grab my picture, and just use GZ to lift it up so we can kind of get a better look. We're done modeling that portion, and come back in here and hit tab into edit mode. So what we need to do is create these little things that jut out. And what I think I'm going to do is use a loop cut here and a loop cut here in order to create some faces so that I can lift this center out for each of these. So let's loop cut. So we're in edit mode, so we can actually go down to choose our loop cut tool, or in this case, selecting the tool here. And if I left click and slide, I can kind of come over, and I'm trying to line this up basically right here so you can see that loop cut. Now I'm going to come back and don't create extra lines. I've done that before. Here I'm going to click, I get the double arrow so I can kind of slide this over and again try and line that up. And then I'm done with that. So before I make any more cuts, I'm going to come up to select box. All right, so I want to select, I think, every 2, and I'm in edge select mode because I was in loop mode. So I'm going to come up here and choose face select mode. So I'm going to start kind of arbitrarily here on the side. So I am going to hold shift and select these faces. And then I'm going to skip 2 and hold shift and select 2. So I'm going to kind of keep that pattern going. I'm going to come around here. So here I'm selecting basically the one at the top. I skip 2. So you have to be kind of careful. If you accidentally select one that you didn't mean to, you can keep holding shift down the whole time. So say I accidentally select this one, but I don't want it, I can, while keeping shift down, I can select it again. So kind of toggles them on and off. Oops, I'm about to miscount here, so I need 2. All right, I'm going to rotate around here a little bit, skip 2, select these, and hopefully my math works out right. So up here I'm going to skip those 2 and come to the side, and still holding shift down. I'm going to skip those 2. All right, and hopefully I've got a space of 3. So I might want to hide that in the back. So let's take a look and see what it looks like. I'm not sure, maybe I miscounted my cubes. Oh, there you can see what happened. So I only skipped 1 here, and that was my problem. So I did. I'm going to fix this. There we go. Now we've got our 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. So nice and symmetrical. So now what do we do, right? So we want these guys to come out. So we want to extrude them perpendicular to their face. Well, you've got an option to do that. If you come down to Extrude tool, and there's a little tiny arrow, triangle, and if you hold that down, left click on it, you can choose Extrude along normals. Okay, Shift spacebar Shift 5 is a shortcut. Apparently, for this one I come in and use the tool, and then that way you can get all of them to extrude. If I can grab the tab here. So they're going the wrong way. There we go. I want it to come out this way. I think I'm at a bad angle here, so I'm going to come in and see if we can't make that. There we go. Pull those out somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's really kind of up to you. For a minute there, I thought I had missed one, but those are all now evenly out. Okay, and then in order to get the shape, what you can do is you can come back into edge mode, and basically what we're going to be doing for all of these is I'll just do it for this one. I'm going to go back to select box here. So I'm in edge select mode, edit, and I'm going to hold down shift and grab these guys, and then what I can do is dissolve them. So if I right click, I'll find dissolve edges down here, and I can click dissolve edge. See, now it matches, so that looks pretty good. I can come around and do this one at a time, or you can do it every few, as long as you're careful about selecting. I'm using shift select. Oops, I missed that edge. And then right click, dissolve edges. I'm gonna scroll out here. All right, so I need to get my edges. So maybe every two. Dissolve edges. You certainly could go all the way around and select these. See if I can get almost 3 of them to show up. Not quite. All right, I was getting greedy there. So shift select. Oops, wrong one. Remember, just hold down shift and click it again, and it'll go off there. All right, so here I need those on that side. Oops, I don't think I quite got it. There we go. All right, and if you find that, like for me, for instance, I'm going to go to front view, click 1 on my numpad. These look like they might be a little bit too wide down here. You can actually, while you're in edit mode sometimes, let's see if this works, if you hold Alt and you click one of the edges, it'll get a loop all the way around, and you can actually, let's say if I wanted to slide this over to the left to make this a little smaller, I can hit GX to slide it along the X-axis, and then I could come over here, hold Alt, and then GX and move this over a little bit if I wanted to make those a bit smaller to resemble more of a square. It's like it's rectangular, but all right, so that does it. That gets us our model, and that brings us to the end of this portion of the tutorial. So thank you for your time and attention, and let's tab back out of that. We've got a great lightsaber on our hand, and in the next video we'll be adding shading materials and lights and a floor, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial.